Hey guys, have you ever wondered the connection between Phyllis from The Office and Panera Bread and what they have in common? Well, I'm here to tell you what they actually did was pretty genius in a way that they actually handled a negative social media blowback. And we can learn a lot from them if you experience any negativity online. And today's topic is all about that, what to do if you get some negative backlash. Because you see, Panera Bread actually took away their French onion soup once, and there was a huge outcry. I don't know if you feel very passionate about soup, but people online sure did. They got tweeted at super negatively. They got made negative memes about them all over Facebook, and people were up in arms about this. And this is a true way that you, as an entrepreneur and as a company who's trying to figure out your messaging right now, might stumble upon something like this. Because if you're experimenting and if you're trying new things, it's not always going to get great feedback. But that does not mean that you shouldn't keep going and that you shouldn't continue to experiment. Because when you do hit on gold, it's serving your community for the right reasons. So, what did Phyllis from The Office have to do with any of this? Well, what Panera Bread decided to do was empower their community to make sure that they feel like they were heard. So Phyllis actually ended up reading tweets and reading negative comments from the community. You know the way that she does in that really low draw of hers and that kind of monotone voice. So she started reading all of these tweets off and let the community at Panera Bread know that they were being heard. They were being listened to. And this is step number one. Panera took a situation and made sure that their community knew, hey, we hear you, we're listening. They did it in a really lighthearted, funny way and in an entertaining way. Remember, social media is so much about entertainment. People want to make sure that they're being heard and they're being entertained when they're on there. So this was a great way for Panera to handle this. As they were doing this, I started reading more about the situation. And some of the changes that they were made and things that were constantly showing up were similar to how you can handle any negative backlash on social media. So the first lesson here is to make sure your customers feel heard. Don't delete comments. Don't feel like you have to cover this up. Just make sure you're transparent, because truly that's one of the strongest things that people respond to surveys about what they actually put weight on for companies. It's about transparency. They want to make sure that they feel like the company is open and honest. So own up to your mistakes. Take that radical responsibility there. Listen to your community and decide on an action plan to respond. This was a great option for responding. And of course, we all don't have the connections to get Phyllis to read these tweets in that way. But think of the ways that you can make sure your community knows you're A, reading them, B, you see them, and C, you're getting ahead of this before any more negative ones come in. And that's the second tip, is you want to make sure you respond quickly. You want to make sure that this response does not wait until you feel like you have the perfect message crafted. So get out there, let people know, respond to people who have that negative vibe against your promotion or campaign or whatever it is right away. Again, don't delete comments, utilize transparency, and a quick response are two of the main things that you want to do. I also want to caution you to do anything, not to do anything around setting negative expectations or false expectations. So Panera did not promise they were bringing the soup back because they weren't sure if they were yet, right? So they went ahead and made sure they were not promising they were bringing it back, but Phyllis was still reading those tweets in a way that we're saying, we're hearing you, we're getting this under control, we're taking it into account. So don't go ahead and set false expectations that you're going to flip around or offer something new or refund everyone until you have a solid plan in mind, because that could backfire even more. If you flip-flop on your response, you're not coming across with that strong messaging. So be careful about that. I also want to warn you to be careful about anything that you do to produce any refunds for people in that public of a space, because you might be inviting in a flood of different people reaching out to you because they expect that same refund. So if you refund one person, be prepared to refund your whole community. So get in touch with people in a way that A, you're making them feel heard was tip number one. B, you have a quick, clear response. C, you're setting expectations in a way that you can follow through with them. And I also want to make sure that if you are going to take this conversation a little further and see if a refund might be right for people, do it offline. Go ahead and respond publicly and ask people if they would like to take the conversation to your DMs or if they'd like to take the conversation to email. People respond really really well to this because they feel like you're caring personally about them. And that can set you apart in a huge way. It's your opportunity to take someone from being really upset and complaining to flipping them around and being a brand advocate. So it is a really cool opportunity for you. And I really kind of learned this lesson in a book called Raving Fans. And they are talking about the way that if you actually make something right, it'll get a stronger brand connection with people than if you just got it right the first time. So if you're able to make them feel that connection the second time, you have probably had a way that you're creating a brand advocate even further. So don't be afraid of that negative comment coming in. Flip your mindset and remind yourself, hey, this is an opportunity for me to create a better relationship with this person. Perhaps you would never have the opportunity to email with them or get in touch with them with your DMs, but this gives you that opportunity to do that and show the human side behind your brand. So don't run away from it. If you make a mistake on social media, especially right now, no one is expecting perfection in the world, and you can be someone who is creating stronger ties by taking risks, by experimenting with your messaging. And if you stumble, know you have this backup plan in mind. So take a note from Phyllis and take a note from Panera on how you can handle negative social media in a way that you're acknowledging it and empowering your community. You're having a quick response rate. You're setting expectations properly. You're taking the conversation to a more private channel to build that relationship even stronger. Awesome to have you guys here today. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions. I'll be back with you tomorrow for another live stream, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.